Good afternoon and welcome to Buzz News. I'm Lewis Eyre. Your headlines today. 2 Bournemouth locals have been sentenced today after being charged with murder and attempted murder. Romain Favre has been loaned out to Auxerre till the end of the season, and Poole Pirates Motorsport Club is looking for a new home. 2 Bournemouth locals have been sentenced for murder and attempted murder after a series of allegedly deliberate road accidents. Dulcie Burnham reports.
Zoe Treadwell has been convicted today of murder at Winchester Crown Court following an incident in April killing a man. Treadwell mowed down Joey Johnson in a Range Rover on South Kingston Drive and today received a life sentence of a minimum term of 35 years. Treadwell has also been convicted of the attempted murder of her former partner Joshua Lovell and for causing grievous bodily harm with intent in a second incident on May the 1st, alongside John J. Harrison. Harrison was also convicted today and has been jailed for 32 years. Johnson died at the scene in April after being thrown from his bike and subsequently suffering a head injury. The trial heard victim impact statements from Johnson's partner. She said, "On the 19th of April, our lives changed for the worse. Joey innocently going out for a bike ride in the evening to never return home. My soulmate taken away from me forever." This is Dulcie Barham, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
Protecting green spaces around Bournemouth is at the heart of an annual flower hunt at Slades Park, which hosted its latest event today. The Parks Foundation have organised the mission to get a record of the impact climate change has on nature. Anna Bodian reports.
Early this morning, volunteers gathered at Slades Farm for their annual flower hunt, collecting data on biodiversity. I spoke to food growing coordinator Tal McMinn about the goals of the hunt.
We're putting on a flower hunt today, and the idea is that we go out, we count what's bloomed, and then next year we do it again. And we compare those records across a few years, and it gives us a snapshot of what climate change is doing to our native flora.
Despite the name Flower Hunt, the goal is to actually find as little as possible. Plants thriving in January would set off major alarms.
Even though it's January, looking for naturalised and native flowers that are in bloom when they shouldn't be, because obviously it's January, everything should be sort of asleep and dormant and just in leaf right now, apart from a very few like gorse, which are in flower all year.
This is snowdrop, probably just coming up here, about the right time of year. And then we've got some chives coming up. They come up in the spring, so they do come up early. Maybe not this early, but yeah. We've got some bramble, that's doing what it does, just dying over, and it'll sprout back up from the actual ground rather than from these twigs.
Volunteers like Tal are keeping track of important environmental timelines whilst nurturing our local landscapes. Anna Bodian, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
Teachers continue to strike today over poor pay and working conditions at the Bournemouth and Poole College in Lansdowne. Dulcie Burnham reports.
What do we want? Fair pay! When do we want it? Now!
This week, Bournemouth and Poole College staff, who are members of the University and College Union, have been striking over working conditions and pay. Staff have formed picket lines today at the college's Lansdowne site on Mayrick Road. College lecturers are earning £9,000 less than school teachers, and so the University and College Union are urging people to support the staff that have been striking this week. I headed down to the picket lines this morning to report.
I'm a regional support official for the University and College Union supporting the extended South West region. My previous role, I was a teacher in further education for 22 years, so I am fully aware of the experiences of the further education lecturers and the experiences they're having to deal with at the moment, which are mainly negative. I stood up and fought for myself, and I wanted to help everybody else who were treated unfairly. It's empowering. We have to say no. We have to make a stand. Unfortunately, Bournemouth and Poole College have been, the management have neglected their staff here. They failed really to put in any meaningful concessions. They're not listening to our set of demands, which are centred around workload, are centred around pay. Bournemouth and Poole College also probably earns around about £7,000 less than school teachers as well, and their workloads are astronomical. And enough is enough, so that's why we're here today, to show our support and our solidarity.
Dulcie Barham, Buzz News, Poole.
The college have said we respect the right of colleagues to take industrial action, but our priority is always our students, and we will be keeping them informed throughout. Museum of East Dorset hosts a raffle for unwanted Christmas toys, giving them a new home. They aim to raise money for their future schemes such as food banks. Ben Woodland has more.
The Museum of East Dorset is running a new scheme taking in unwanted Christmas presents and redistributing them to the local community. Andy Putt runs the museum and spoke about the impact of the project.
So for us as a community project, as a charity, we're always looking for ways of raising money and funds. So people giving it to us is a really good way for them to feel part of the community, but also supporting us as a project. So if they can't give financially, they are able to give as a gift. And then when we run our raffles and events, those are things which we use as the raffle prizes. So therefore it's not costing us to go out and buy stuff for the raffles, and so therefore the person giving it is winning, but also we're obviously receiving the money in for raising money for the charity.
The museum's programme, launched on January 12th, ensures that proceeds from the scheme go towards future plans and the goal of building a better community. Andy touched on the success of previous ventures.
The other thing we do, and those kind of things, is we also do work with the food bank, so people can also come into our shop, purchase things which then we deliver to the food bank. So it's gifts and presents. So the food bank doesn't just do food for people, but they obviously bear in mind people's birthday presents, Christmas presents, seasonal gifts and stuff. So we've also run that over Christmas.
It's certain to be an exciting month for the Museum of East Dorset. Ben Woodland, Buzz News, Wimborne.
Now, let's hand over to our sports correspondent, Paige Buffum.
Thank you, Lewis. Here is your sports news for today. And a bit of breaking news for you now. AFC Bournemouth have confirmed that Romain Favera has joined French club Auxerre until the end of the season. We sent our reporter Jack Hillman down to AFC Bournemouth's Performance Centre to attend both press conferences for AFC Bournemouth's upcoming games. He spoke to the women's head coach Helen Blizzard and men's first team manager Andoni Iraola.
Yes, we're all wrapped up here at the Performance Centre after the two press conferences. From Andoni Iraola's, it was revealed that Brooks is dealing with an injury that he suffered against Newcastle. He hopes to have Ryan Christie back for Monday. He also isn't hopeful of a replacement anymore before Brighton, which he was last week. And if he is to get a replacement, his priority is Antoine Semenyo.
As for the women's press conference, both Jessica Hennessy and Helen Blizzard were embracing the excitement over the nerves, and were also liking being the underdogs for this big game on Sunday against WSL leaders Manchester City. Jack Hillman, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
A cancer-themed range of goalkeeping gloves have been made in memory of former Southampton player Ben Curl, who passed away from the disease in 2023.
Harry Shaw is a goalkeeping coach and owner of South Cove Kids. His latest range of gloves are inspired by his close friend and former Southampton player Ben Curl, who sadly passed away from cancer in 2023.
I'm a football coach as well, Poole Town Ladies, so I really want to push the ladies football. I feel as though it's a growing game, but they don't get a lot of help and support, which is obviously the ongoing battle. So I've reached out to a lot of female goalkeepers local, and Hermione was one of them. Obviously, as Ben's sister, it's a no-brainer to help out a family friend. She wanted gloves, and then we had the idea of, well, can we keep Ben's legacy going in the football world?
The inspiration behind the design of the gloves pays tribute to cancer charities such as Macmillan's Local. They were close to Ben and his family as he spent time in their care during his battle. He was diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer and sadly passed away at the young age of 24. As a result, Harry has ensured that 10% of all profits go towards Macmillan Local to help those in similar situations.
We moved into a charity and a brand this year with our FU range, and that's linked to Ben Cole, that sadly passed away a couple of years ago. He was a local lad at Southampton, diagnosed with cancer. His sister now plays for Plymouth. We combined together, joined our heads together and built these in memory of him. So affordable, good quality goalkeeping gloves that helps out the charity.
Harry's aim is to make affordable, quality goalkeeping gloves that are accessible to young female goalkeepers such as Hermione, whilst also raising money for charities such as Macmillan's Local. Tom Priestley, Buzz News, Bournemouth.
After Poole Pirates announced that they were looking to move away from their Wimborne Road location, we looked into why so many Speedway teams have closed over the last 10 years and whether Poole could share the same fate. Cameron Dennison reports.
The Poole Pirates are looking forward to their upcoming season with owner Matt Ford coming back for a more hands-on role and the return of their club captain, Zach Cook. However, for the sport they love, they face dark times. In 2017, a finding was released that 27 clubs had been shut down between 1990 and 2017, with 15 teams having to close in the last 10 years alone. With the Birmingham Brummies the last to fall to this sad decline in the sport, after closing its doors back in August. I spoke to motorsport journalist Jack Hammersley, who did commentaries for the Brummies, about the reasons behind these events. Jack said the main reason for most of the closures is due to the clubs losing the stadiums and being unable to find somewhere new. Jack also goes on to talk about the drop in attendance and how there was a lack of young Speedway supporters, which may have been a factor in the lack of finances within the sport. With Matt Ford saying a long-term future at Wimborne Road was severely doubtful, the Pirates are now looking for a long-term stadium to avoid going into the same situations as teams such as the Wolverhampton Wolves and the Birmingham Brummies. However, it is still clear to see that things need to change, or teams like Poole will share the same fate as so many others around the country. Cameron Dennison, Buzz News, Poole.
Bashley looked to bounce back after a last-minute heartbreak against Mousehole, with a relegation 6-pointer this weekend against Tavistock.
Thanks, Paige.
And now we'll head over to Lewis.
There we go, thanks, Paige. That's all for the latest news. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye for now.